And Genvieve, tell us a little bit about what you're hearing and what his constituents' reaction is today to this very momentous decision.
Well, certainly, Omar, not much surprise here in the riding of Papineau. This is, of course, something that people here had been expecting for quite some time, as had many Canadians. But I'm at the metro station here, Jarry Metro, where Justin Trudeau had made a tradition of coming the morning after an election. When he was elected, he would come to the metro here, shake hands with all the voters, and thank them for electing him once again to office. He's been elected here since 2008. And as I'm talking to people today, you know, there's a real mix of emotion about the situation. A lot of people saying that it was time for him to step down, that he has represented this riding, and it was a source of pride. I remember all those years ago when he first said he would run here. It was a big fight to get the nomination, and then he beat the Bloc Québécois that had been holding on to this riding for just a short time. It's been a Liberal stronghold for many years, but still it was held by the Bloc. And he was a bit of a rock star in this riding. It's a very ethnically diverse neighborhood. A lot of people were very big fans of Trudeau, of his father. There were some sovereignists who had been, and I spoke to a few of them this morning, people who were talking about the fact that they felt that he carried the legacy of his father. There were protests in the early days, but he was certainly seen as a rock star in those early days here. That has certainly faded somewhat. People now talking about the fact that it was time for him to go, talking about the fact that they felt he hadn't done enough for the population here in this riding, and that he had mistakes, of course, on the national scene. So this was certainly something that they believe it was that this time had come. There are other people who are saying, though, they're quite concerned about what to do next. They say that they had voted for Trudeau. They don't know what will happen. They don't know who the leader, of course, of the party will be, and just what will happen is something that they're looking forward to.
Jen, you alluded to this, and perhaps unfair to ask you as a follow-up based on a few conversations you've had this morning, but, you know, Justin Trudeau said in his speech today that he fought for Canadians, he fought for the middle class, fought for climate change, and also brought up the war in Ukraine. Do people in his riding and in his constituency feel that's the case? Because there are lots of Canadians right now who don't feel that this party has done that for them, or that he may have for a period of time, but not as of late. I mean, we talk about the cost of living crisis, the fact that life has become so unaffordable for so many people. But are people in, you know, his own riding feeling that he fought for them during his time in office and over the past 10 years as Prime Minister?
And that's a very big question in this riding. It's one of the poorest neighborhoods here in the country. It has been a very difficult time for people in this riding, and they don't feel that the government has fought for them. Many people here saying that they feel that in recent years there had been a lot of mistakes that were made, and they felt that they had been falling, you know, that the Liberal Party was not the party that was fighting for them. I do remember all those years ago and through the years talking to people in this riding who had a very different opinion at some point, who felt as though this was the best party to represent this riding, that, as I say, the ethnically diverse region felt that this was a person who would fight for minorities in this country, that Trudeau represented that ideology, that feeling. But now they feel that all those years later, there has been, here as in other places, I mean, he was still elected here, you know, quite handily last time around. There's still people who were very loyal to him, but there has been a more diversified opinion, as I noticed from talking to a few people here this morning. It's just something that reflecting what has happened in the rest of the country as well.
All right, Genvieve Beauchemin in Justin Trudeau's riding of Papineau. Jen, thank you so much for this